Drama Macbeth by Victoria Hewitt. Copyright Black Cat Publishing. Macbeth. The year is 1040. Scotland is a cold, dangerous, and isolated place. There are invasions from the Vikings of Norway and wars with the English. There is also a new king, Macbeth. Macbeth kills the old King Duncan to become the Scottish monarch. This is a perfectly normal way to take the throne in the 11th century. Macbeth really existed, and you can find his name in history books. But was he like the king in Shakespeare's famous play? Shakespeare. The year is 1605. England has a new king, the Scottish King James, who is now also monarch of England. Shakespeare lives in London and is a very important actor, director, and writer for the king. He wants to please his new king and writes a Scottish play, Macbeth. Shakespeare is England's most famous writer, and now, after 400 years, people still love to go to the theatre to see his plays. Introduction to Drama. In this book you will read the story of Macbeth, one of Shakespeare's most famous heroes. Macbeth is not only a story, but a play to be acted in the theatre. When you read the script, try to imagine real people speaking and moving. Think of their voices, their movements, and their feelings. There are lots of actors. Some of them are very important, and they must say a lot, like Macbeth or Lady Macbeth. There are also parts for people who don't have a lot to say, and also people who act without speaking, like Macduff's family. Act 1. Scene 1. A wild heath near the battlefield. The witches know that Macbeth will pass by the heath when the battle is finished, and plan to meet each other again at that time.
Let's meet again, sisters.
Yes, when the battle's finished.
But where? Here on the heath.
We will meet Macbeth.
Yes, sisters, we will meet when Macbeth comes.
Fair is foul and foul is fair, over through the fog and filthy air.
Scene 2. The king's camp near the battlefield. Look, Father! Someone's coming! He's covered in blood! A messenger arrives to tell the king how the battle is progressing. He says that the Scottish army is defeating the Norwegian Vikings thanks to Macbeth. Duncan decides to give Macbeth another title to thank him for his good service and his bravery. Your Majesty, I bring you news from the battlefield.
Well, man, are we winning?
Don't worry, Your Majesty. Macbeth has everything under control. The battle will soon be finished.
Macbeth is a very brave captain. I'm sure we will defeat the Vikings thanks to him. I will give him the title Thane of Cawdor.
I'll go and give him this good news, Your Majesty. Scene 3. A wild heath near the battlefield. Macbeth and another captain, his friend Banquo, are returning from the battle. Suddenly, they see 3 strange women dancing around a cauldron, the 3 witches. When they see Macbeth and Banquo, the witches stop dancing and greet them. Their greeting is very strange, and the 2 captains are confused by what they hear.
Well, Banquo, another day finished. We didn't do badly, did we?
Not at all. But I'll be happy to get home. What about you?
Wait a minute, Banquo. Look over there. Who are those 3 horrendous old women?
Listen, sisters.
A drum, Macbeth will come.
Hail Macbeth, Thane of Glamis! Hail Macbeth, Thane of Cawdor!
Hail Macbeth, who will be king one day.
Are they talking to me? I'm the Thane of Glamis, it's true, but I'm not the Thane of Cawdor, and I'm certainly not the king.
It's strange. They seem to know you.
Banquo, you will be happier than Macbeth, but less happy.
Your sons will be kings, but you will not!
Hail Banquo and Macbeth.
Hail Macbeth and Banquo!
Who were they? How did they know our names?
They said your sons will be kings.
They said you will be king.
They called me by 3 names. I am the Thane of Glamis, not Cawdor, and not king.
Look, Macbeth, a messenger is coming.
The messenger arrives. He tells Macbeth about the king's decision to make him Thane of Cawdor. Macbeth is now very surprised, as the witches told him the same thing, and more. He decides to write a letter to his wife, Lady Macbeth, and tell her of the strange witches and their prophecy.
Greetings from the king! Macbeth, I have some good news for you. His Majesty King Duncan of Scotland honours you with the title Thane of Cawdor for your bravery in battle. What?
What?
I said that His Majesty...
Yes, we heard you the first time. But are you sure he said Thane of Cawdor?
Of course I'm sure.
That's incredible. The witches were right.
And if they were right once, perhaps they will be right a second time. I must write to tell my wife what happened.
Scene 4. Macbeth's Castle. The same day.
Lady Macbeth waits for her husband to return. She is very ambitious and impatient. She reads Macbeth's letter, believes the witch's prophecy, and wants her husband to be king immediately. She starts to form a plan.
So, you are the Thane of Glamis, and now you are the Thane of Cawdor too. Exactly like the 3 strange sisters promised. But it's impossible. Scotland has a king. We can't wait for him to die. We must do something. The witches were right. You will be king, Macbeth. And you will be king soon.
When Macbeth gets home, she tells him her plan, to kill King Duncan and get the throne quicker. Macbeth is not convinced, but his wife continues to persuade him. He tells her that the king and his 2 sons, Donalbain and Malcolm, will be guests in their castle that night.
Did you read my letter? Do you know what happened?
Yes, I read your letter. We must move quickly.
What do you mean? Move quickly.
If you want to be king, we must kill Duncan to get the throne.
You are mad, woman. We can't kill the king.
It's the only way. If not, you must wait for 10 or perhaps 20 years for the king to die. Well, what's the problem? Are you afraid? My husband, are you a man or a mouse? If you want to be king, we must kill Duncan to get the throne.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when will he go?
Tomorrow.
He will never see tomorrow's sun. Leave all the rest to me.
Act 2, Scene 1, Macbeth's Castle. The next day.
The king and his sons arrive, and there are grand festivities to celebrate their arrival.
Your Majesty, welcome to our humble home.
The pleasure is all mine, my dear Macbeth. It is my honor to be guest in the house of a faithful subject.
You don't know how happy we are that you and your sons decided to stay with us this evening.
Come, the banquet is ready. Let's eat and drink together.
Your hospitality is great, Macbeth. I thank you again. I don't know, Macduff. There's something strange in all this.
What do you mean, good Banquo?
It's a long story. We met some witches, and they told us...
Witches? Banquo, you drink too much wine.
Perhaps you're right. But keep an eye on Macbeth.
All right, I'll watch him.
In the great hall, there is much singing, dancing, and eating. Finally, the king stands up and says good night to everyone. The others follow.
I'm tired. Sorry to leave the party, but I must sleep. Good night, everyone.
Oh, good night. Good night, Your Majesty.
Your Majesty.
Scene 2, Macbeth's Castle. Later that night.
When everyone is asleep, Macbeth, encouraged by his wife, goes into King Duncan's bedroom and kills him with a dagger. He is very afraid and starts to imagine things.
Well, husband, they're all sleeping. Here's the dagger. Are you ready?
Dearest, I'm not sure it's a good idea.
Of course it's a good idea. It's the only way, Macbeth.
But what will I do if the guards hear me?
They won't hear you. I put a special sleeping powder in their wine. They will sleep like babies until tomorrow morning.
But what will I do if he wakes up?
You must be quick. He won't wake up.
Yes, I'll go and do it now then.
When you return, give the dagger to me.
Yes, but what...
Go now.
What if we fail?
If you are courageous, we will not fail. Now go.
Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. I can't take you, but I can see you. Are you a dagger of the mind, a false creation? I'll go now and do it. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is the bell that calls you to heaven or to hell. killed the king.
Good.
Did you hear that noise?
What?
Did you speak?
No, I didn't. Now give me the dagger. I'll leave it near the sleeping guards and put blood on their faces. Everyone will think they killed him.
I heard that noise again. Someone is here.
No one's here, Macbeth. It's all in your imagination.
I did a terrible thing. How can I?
Stop this nonsense now. Let's go to sleep before someone sees us.
Scene 3. Macbeth's Castle. The morning after.
The next day, the crime is discovered. Donalbain and Malcolm, the king's sons, are afraid, and they run away. Malcolm goes to England, and Donalbain to Ireland. Everyone thinks that they are guilty. Macbeth is crowned king.
Wake up! Wake up! The king is dead!
Who did this terrible thing to our father?
He was a good king. Everybody loved him. I don't understand why someone wanted to kill him.
Listen, brother, I am afraid. The person who did this will not stop now.
Do you think he will kill us too?
It's possible. Macduff, what do you think?
I don't know. I don't understand what is happening in this castle, but I don't like it.
You're right, and I don't want to risk my life. Let's escape now. I'll go to England.
And I'll go to Ireland. We will be safe there.
Goodbye, and good luck, my friends.
Oh, Macduff, your master, our king, is dead.
Yes, sir, I heard this tragic news. His sons, Malcolm and Donalbain, left for England and Ireland. They were afraid for their lives.
Afraid or guilty? Their immediate departure is very suspicious. They must be the killers.
I'm sure you are wrong, my lady. Duncan had 2 good sons who loved him.
No, my wife is right. The problem now is who will be king. Malcolm and Donalbain are killers. Obviously, they cannot take the throne.
And so, obviously, you will become king, Macbeth. You were Duncan's favourite captain. You must be our choice, too.
Yes, Macbeth must be king. The witches were right again. But this time, I'm sure Macbeth helped the hand of destiny.
Long live the king! Long live the king!
Act 3. Scene 1. The Castle.
Macbeth is now king of Scotland, but Banquo remembers the witch's prophecy and suspects the truth. Macbeth is also worried, because he remembers what the witches said to Banquo. He hires murderers to kill Banquo and his son Florence.
Now Macbeth has everything. He's Thane of Glamis, Thane of Cawdor and king, exactly like the 3 witches said. And what about me? They said that my sons will be kings. I have a son, Fleance. Will he be king?
Good morning, Your Majesty.
Good morning, Banquo. How are you? It's a beautiful day. What are your plans?
I think I'll go hunting in the forest, Your Majesty.
Ah, yes. Good idea. And what about your son, Fleance? Will you take him with you?
Yes, Your Majesty. He's young, but he wants to learn.
Well, happy hunting. See you this evening at dinner. Did you hear him? He said that he and the boy Fleance are going hunting in the forest. Follow them and kill them. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Majesty.
Yes, Your Majesty.
And don't return until they are both dead. Banquo is a bad man, an enemy of the king. He must die.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Yes, Your Majesty.
I'm sorry for Banquo, but the witches said his sons will be kings, and I can risk nothing.
Scene 2. In the forest.
The murderers follow Banquo and kill him brutally. Fleance escapes.
Father, I'm tired.
All right, let's rest now.
We can sit under this tree and eat our lunch.
Good idea, son.
Right, there they are.
You take Banquo, and I'll take the boy.
No, I'll take the boy. You take Banquo.
Father, did you hear a noise?
Yes, son. I heard a noise, and I have an idea who it is.
Fleance, run! Quick!
Scene 3. The castle. Later the same day.
During the grand banquet dinner, the ghost of Banquo appears, covered in blood and knife wounds. Only Macbeth can see him, and he is terrified. Nobody understands why Macbeth is acting strangely, or who he is talking to. His wife guesses, and tries to calm the situation. Macduff sees this strange scene, and starts to become suspicious. He goes to England to persuade Malcolm to return and fight Macbeth.
What do you mean, Fleance escaped?
He ran away, Your Majesty. I took Banquo and...
No, Your Majesty. I took Banquo and cut his throat 20 times.
I cut his throat, not you.
Get out, both of you!
Come, husband. Forget Fleance for this evening. Dinner's ready.
Please, Your Majesty, sit down. Dinner's ready.
But there is no place for me.
Here's your place, my dear.
Who is responsible for this?
For what, Your Majesty?
For this? Who are you? Where do you come from? What do you want from me?
Who is the king talking to?
He's talking to the chair. Nobody's there.
Look! Don't you see? A dead man at our table.
My husband is not well. You must excuse him. Stop this scene now. It's in your imagination. The chair is empty.
Please excuse me. Like my wife said, I'm not well at the moment. I think I'll have a rest. Tomorrow, I will go to the heath and speak to the 3 witches. They will tell me everything.
I don't trust Macbeth. Banquo was right. I'll go to England and tell Malcolm what is happening. Perhaps I can convince him to return to Scotland and fight Macbeth for the throne.
So, Macduff is going to England to get Malcolm's help. I must tell my husband. We will have revenge.
Act 4. Scene 1. The Wild Heath.
Macbeth visits the 3 witches, and they make 3 new prophecies.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Fillet of a fenny snake in the cauldron boil and bake.
Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog.
For a charm of powerful trouble, like a hill broth, boil and bubble. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Hail, you black midnight women!
Speak, demand.
We'll answer.
Tell me what you know.
Macbeth, beware Macduff.
Macbeth, Macbeth, do not be afraid of any man who was born of woman.
Then I will not be afraid of Macduff, because he was born of woman.
Macbeth, do not be afraid until Burnham Wood moves to Dunsinane Hill.
That will never be! Nobody can move a forest! The wood will never move to Dunsinane Hill. Thank you, strange sisters. Now I know I have nothing to fear.
Scene 2. Macduff's Castle.
Macbeth discovers that Macduff has gone to England to get Malcolm and is very angry. As revenge, he sends soldiers to kill Macduff's wife and his children.
Okay, there they are, Lady Macduff and the 2 children. I don't know why Macbeth wants to kill Macduff's family, but I'm sure he had a good reason. And we are here to follow orders, not to ask why. Right? Right. Okay, let's go get them.
This time you did it right?
Yes, Your Majesty. Yes, Your Majesty.
Well done. Now Macduff will give us no more problems.
Scene 3. In England.
A messenger tells Macduff what happened, and he decides to return to Scotland to kill Macbeth himself.
Malcolm, a messenger told me that Macbeth hired men to kill my family.
I don't believe it.
My wife and my 2 beautiful children are dead.
Let's go immediately to Scotland. Macbeth killed my father and your family. We need revenge.
I want to kill him with my own hands, Malcolm. Then you will be the true King of Scotland.
Let's go, Macduff. Together with the English army, we will defeat Macbeth. Every soldier must cut a branch from the trees in Burnham Wood. We will hide behind them for protection and advance on Macbeth.
Scene 4. In Macbeth's Castle.
A doctor and a nurse observe Lady Macbeth. She is sleepwalking and talking to herself. They think she has become mad.
Look, Doctor, she's speaking to herself again.
Yes, she did the same yesterday. But I don't understand what she wants to say.
Listen, she's starting to speak again.
The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? Will my hands never be clean?
You go to her. You know more about these things.
I know nothing of things like this. I'm afraid she's mad.
Banquo's dead. He will never return. Come, give me your hand. What is done cannot be undone. To bed, to bed.
Will she go to bed now? There's something strange in the air, nurse. Watch her.
I will, Doctor.
Scene 5. In Scotland.
The conclusion to the tragedy of Macbeth.
Look, the English army is approaching in the distance. We will meet them when they arrive at Burnham Wood.
Come on, we should tell the king.
People say the king is mad now. He has many secret murders on his hands. He is like a thief in a king's clothes.
Quiet! Here he comes!
I am not afraid. Do you understand?
Yes.
Macduff is not a man. He's a boy.
Your
He
Majesty.
was born of woman. He had a mother. And so I have no fear.
Your Majesty, there are 10,000...
10,000 what? Geese?
No, Your Majesty, soldiers. English soldiers.
Go away, you horrible boy. Well, Doctor, how is the patient?
I'm sorry, Your Majesty. She's not well. She has problems of the mind.
Well, cure her. I have no time for medicine. Give me my sword. I'm not afraid of death until Burnham Wood moves to Dunsinane Hill.
Your Majesty, the Queen is dead.
Excuse me, Your Majesty, but something very strange happened when I was on the hill. I looked towards Burnham Wood, and it began to move.
What? Liar! If this is a joke, I will cut you open alive.
Look, you can see it there, Your Majesty.
Macduff, my soul is full of your blood.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword.
I will never be afraid of you, Macduff. The witches gave me a magic life.
But they didn't tell you that I was not born in the normal way, Macbeth. I was ripped from my mother's womb.
What? Not born of woman? It was a trick. The witches tricked me. I will never give the Scottish crown to Malcolm.
Here is the head of the tyrant Macbeth. Now you are our king, Malcolm. Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail, King of Scotland! Hail, King of Scotland!